Hello, this is Steve Andersen from the USBA and the UMB's World Cup in Greece last week. Had some usual strong competition. Our guest won with a world record tournament average of 2.739. Of course, that's none other than Torbjorn Blomdahl. Congratulations, Torbjorn. Welcome to the USBA's monthly interviews.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So tell us about the Greece Cup. Obviously you won. Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, we changed system now. We play 40-point matches, and it's kind of short. So I was kind of disappointed after the tournament in Korea 2 weeks before, because all the matches ended so quickly, like matches in 12 innings and matches in 14 innings and all this. But now it came even worse in Greece. There were matches in 9 innings. I had one in 10 innings, one in 13 innings, and yeah, the level is very, very high at the moment. So I'm happy I came out there as a winner.
Yes, absolutely. Well, maybe that prompts a good question. Most of the players I speak to would prefer a 50-point match. I presume that you subscribe to that as well, that you'd prefer a longer match. Given that, why does the UMB not want to do that, since it seems like a lot of the players are requesting that?
I actually don't know what the players are requesting, so
Oh, okay.
I myself have expressed that a 50-point match might be better, because yeah, those kind of baby games are over in 10 innings. It's kind of short, but you will have that in the 50-point matches as well. You will have the very short ones, 12, 13 innings, maybe not so often 10 or less. But on the other hand, you get the longer matches. Now we had one match, it was 40 points. They tied in 33 innings, and with a shootout, it was kind of long. So if that happens in a 50-point match, so it might be long as well, very long. So I don't know what they're going to decide there. I think they are going to, this is pure speculation, I think they're going to increase the 50 to 50 points from, I don't know, from quarterfinal, from semifinal or something like that.
I think that's probably a good idea. Nice match with Tran. That was a close one. But anyhow, you were triumphant. Next tournament, the Billiard Cup Triathlon. You'll be playing in that in Czechoslovakia, correct?
Yeah, the ANAG trophy. Yes, this is a debut for me again. I already had one debut this year. I played one cushion for the first time at the European Championships. And now this will be the first time book line for me. So it's kind of interesting. I planned all this because I wanted to do some new things now when I'm a little older. So I've been practicing a little bit. So let's see what happens.
Well, that's great. Well, I wish you luck. Yeah, that should be fun. Well, let's turn to maybe a little philosophy, if we can, or at least approaches to the game. One of the questions that seems to get asked to a lot of the top players is, the category, are you a numbers player, meaning do you use the diamond system and the mass system, or are you more of a field player? So if you were forced into one camp or the other, how would you classify yourself?
Yeah, it's difficult because it's hard to play without looking at the diamonds. So it's kind of it tempts you to use the knowledge of the system, but it's, on the other hand, it's very dangerous, because if you rely on these things too much, you get kind of numb and you don't feel at the right moment. So I try not to look at them too much, but I use them sometimes. And actually, I would find it really interesting to see what happens when we just cover the diamond or just make tables without diamond.
Yes.
Maybe
Yeah.
get different results.
Yeah, well, that would be an interesting test, if you will. Perhaps it sounds like you know, that maybe a combination of both can be helpful. You know, when you can use the diamond system, but a lot of it is based on feel. But yes, absolutely. Well, you know, we've had some discussion with the USBA, and we have AZ Billiards. I don't know if you've ever been to that forum, but one of the conversations that come up a lot is stroke theory. And there are many players that subscribe to the cue ball manipulation. Different strokes are going to have different effects. Short follow-through versus long follow-through is going to have this kind of effect versus that kind of effect. How do you, what are your thoughts regarding that?
Yeah, kind of strict. I strongly believe that the cue ball does not have any brain. So what you do after you struck it, he will not know. So he cannot react to that. So what you can do is give your cue ball one speed and one spin. That's all you can do. You cannot give your cue ball acceleration because when it leaves the tip, it gets slower all the time. It's like a gun bullet. It's like a bullet. It reaches its highest speed when it leaves the gun. Then it's always getting slower. So what you do after you strike your cue ball, it's of no importance whatsoever.
Yeah, see, I subscribe to that too. It almost, the way some people talk about it, it is almost like a metaphysical thing or something, or some supernatural thing that seems to happen. But physics are physics, and there's not much you can argue about that. So, well, that's good.
Yeah.
Your pool game, you know, you're, I would think, one of the few predominant carom players that has a pretty healthy pool game. Since you mentioned earlier that as you're getting older, you're wanting to experience things, do you see yourself playing in some 9-ball tournaments and some pool tournaments coming up?
No, not at all. I don't. I get invited every now and then. I played some tournaments here in Sweden last couple of years, but exhibitions, that's okay. But I mean, my pool game was okay 20 years ago, but now all the pool players have been improving so much. I have no chance anymore. So maybe 10-ball. I can stir around a little bit among the better players. I don't know. But no, not the top anymore. I kind of lost touch with the world class pool players. No chance anymore.
Yeah, there are so many great players. Well, let's talk about, if we may, how do you see caroms playing out? Meaning, what kind of changes do you foresee? Do you believe that the Korean players are going to continue to get better, and maybe that part of the world might become kind of an epicenter for caroms? Or how do you see the futuristic thing play out in caroms? Thoughts?
Yeah, we're watching right now the very large group of Koreans and also Vietnamese player very, very strong. So I think that is something which will carry on for a while. So Europeans, we have to put on warm clothes in the near future to put up with the Asian attack.
And the youth. Do you see that there are enough young players coming up in the ranks that you feel comfortable that in the near future that Caroms will continue to be strong, or are you a little concerned about not introducing enough young players to the game?
Yeah, I don't know about that, but until now the Europeans we can put up with the Asians, but just barely. So they have a larger group of players. So that's maybe the most important thing. They have a very large group of players, and especially in Vietnam and Korea. So Europe, we have the top players, of course, still, but I don't know how long that will last. And to answer your question, I really don't know, because I'm kind of here in the southern Germany. I don't see much three cushion, so three cushion in Europe is played in other places, not right here where I live. So I can't really watch what is happening.
Sure. Well,
in the club, I mean.
Mm-hmm. Well, with the younger players, I think the junior championship is going on perhaps this week, as I remember, in South America, I believe, and so bringing up
the World Championship in Greece right now.
Greece, excuse
next
me.
Week, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Maybe starting now, soon, in a couple of days. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Well,
same place where we had the World Cup tournament last week.
The Ranch.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, gotta ask you this one. This is more on a personal note here. My wife has jumped out of a plane. My daughter has actually jumped twice. I understand that you jumped out of a plane. Is that part of that? You're getting older and you want to try new things, or did you? What was that about?
That was a present at my 50th birthday from my wife. And to correct you, I did not jump out of the airplane. I was pushed out of it. You know, you're attached to somebody, and he's kind of steering the thing, and he decides at what moment we have to leave the airplane. So he just pushes off, and I have to just go along. So
yeah,
that was easy. I was in good hands, so no problem. The wind circumstances were okay that day, so nothing special. But the day before was bad wind, so the guy who was supposed to do the jump with me, he almost broke his foot at a bad landing the day before, so he had to cancel, and I got another one. So that was kind of a scare, but went all right.
But you had to be nervous, right?
No, not at all. Three cushion game is much more difficult.
Okay, well, I'll take your word for it. I just couldn't do that. But anyhow, closing comments. Give me, if you would mind, just give me your opinion of Caroms in the U.S., some of the players, any recommendations for the American players. We have some good players like Pedro and Hugo and Miguel and Mason, and you know those names.
Yeah.
Any recommendations for us? What can we do to get up to, the level that people are playing at, like yourself?
Yeah, that's a good question. If you knew, it would happen. What I do see, I see Pedro playing really, really well, and then there are a lot of players just actually far below his level, because he's kind of, for me, he's much stronger than the rest of the players. So if that gap can be closed, and that would be very important. Maybe some new players coming up. I see the same names every year, so that would be the key, I think, to try to get some new players, maybe to close that gap between Pedro and like Patino and Torres and this group of players. I saw Torres making progress now. That was nice. But you need to close that gap, and then everything will work out fine, I think, because then you'll have more than one star, so to say, and that will trigger more interest, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that makes good sense. Perhaps the isolation of us not, kind of being in our own continent and not being able to play in, not that we couldn't play in the World Cups, but I think having you guys in Europe being so close together and all the countries so close together, it just allows you to have that exposure with each other. And I think maybe perhaps we're a little geographically isolated. I don't know, but the more exposure we can get to other players, I think would certainly help.
Yeah, I don't know how you solve that, but you need to have more tournaments, of course, and get more people to play. But I have no idea how to achieve that.
Yes.
I'm better at playing, so I don't really know how you manage that.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate the time, and any closing thoughts or opinions or ideas that you can share with the members of the USBA?
No, this is only the same, always the same thing. Just keep on playing. I love this game, and if you love this game, just keep on playing. That's what we should do.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's good advice. Torbjorn, thank you so much for taking the time out. I know you have a busy schedule. I appreciate you talking with us, and good luck at the triathlon, and continue playing as well as you've been playing.
Thanks a lot, and I appreciate. And I'm going to concentrate on the World Championship in 2 weeks. Not so much on the triathlon. So.
Well, I understand, and good luck with that as well.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye. You there? Hello?